Right, guys, I have some pretty big news. I was able to acquire this F2-7 visa here in South Korea, and this is about all the information I can share with you, just because this card has numbers, locations, even a QR code. But I decided to make this video to share my experience and my steps on how I was able to do it, so that hopefully you can have a couple of things learned or a few questions answered about this process, and hopefully your process would become a little bit easier when you do this, if this is something that you are into. This video is not a comprehensive guide. I'm not an immigration officer, so I may not be able to know everything. There are so many different paths that you can take towards getting this visa, but again, this is just the things that I did in the past and how I got to this stage in my life where I got this residence visa. Alright, so this is the breakdown of the video, just in case you want to skip it to a part that you are most interested about. But let's start with what this visa is and what are its benefits. F2-7 is a point-based long-term residence visa in South Korea. It is not a permanent residence yet, but this is a one step towards it. Some of the benefits I would like to highlight is the fact that you can do freelance job. You can have multiple jobs if you would like to. If you were previously on e-visa, like myself, E7 visa, my visa was tied to my contract. So if I were to leave my job, I would have to leave the country. So which is not the case anymore. I can actually take a longer break. I may not work for some time, and then if I leave my job, I obviously don't have to leave the country anymore. And one of the biggest benefits that F2-7 visa holders have is that they can open their own business, which is something I'm really excited about, and I have yet to decide what I would do with it. But yeah, this is something like to think about, but not yet. And just before we dive into the process of getting this visa, I would love to just share a couple of things about myself, who I am and what I do here in South Korea. In case you're new to this channel, my name is Tima. I live in Seoul and I'm a full-time video producer. I film content for a YouTube channel, the company that I work for, and this is a car restoration project. Basically, we do restore old cars, modify them a little bit, and our channel has been quite successful in the past couple of years. And because of this job, I was able to learn quite a few things about cars, and this is something I have been doing for the past 3 years. And I have also been making travel content here on this channel, where I travel around the country and show the sides of South Korea that are typically not shown to foreigners or people who travel. Just in case you would like to dive a little bit deeper into the culture or some of the less traveled places around the country, feel free to check out my other videos. And to dive deeper into the path that I took towards getting this visa, let's start from a little bit earlier. I came to South Korea first in 2014 for like a small conference. I was a part of MUN club back in my high school, and I came to Seoul for just a week. And I loved it here just because we used to live near Gangnam, and I thought to myself, oh wow, this is South Korea, I would love to move here. And then basically a year later, upon graduating from my high school, I moved to Daejeon and started my bachelor's degree there, and I stayed there for 4 years. I got a part-time job along the way, so I started filming content for social media for the university that I was studying at, and then I completed my master's degree in South Korea. And then I moved to Seoul, where I found my full-time job. The reason why this is important is because you get points for your education, for your working experience, salary, and so on. We'll get to that in a little bit. If you count the time that I've been here, it's actually more than 8 years. So this is how long it took me to get to this point. There are a couple of shortcuts that I could have done, or like maybe if I were to do things one more time, I would have done differently, but it's still good. This is not the place where residence is particularly easy compared to probably a lot of the other countries, which is not necessarily a bad thing, just makes reaching the end goals a little bit sweeter in compared to other places. Yeah, I have a bachelor's degree, master's degree, and I have experience working full-time for 3 years, and I did take my Korean language test, so this is a starter pack for what you may need if you were to apply for this visa. Just to recap, I was on the 2 student visa in the beginning, then I moved to D10, which is a job searching visa, which is basically a visa you get upon graduating from your master's degree. And I had this visa for 6 months, and then after I got my visa sponsored by my job, which was E7 visa. And after staying on E7 visa for over 3 years, I graduated to F2-7 visa, and this is the visa I'm currently on right now. And the most important piece of information I would love to share with you is the point chart, because this is a point-based visa. So you actually have to have 80 or more points to get in this visa, and the number of points and your salary determine the length of stay for you in here on this visa. So you need this chart to apply for this visa, or you can actually use it to check your eligibility, or maybe check the areas you may need to pick up points on. So this is a paper you can find online. There is also an English version of this, but we're going to use the original one because this is the one that you will be submitting. Over here, this is your personal information and the total points. As you can see here, the total is 130 and the minimum, as I mentioned earlier, is 80. And let's start with the first category, which is H, and you can get up to 25 points in this category. All right, so this row over here is the H, and I fall into this category, so I get 25 points here. Right, so next here is education, and you get up to 25 points for this category. And for me, it was my master's degree. Either you get like a science/engineering degree or 2 degrees in master's, you get 20 points. And actually wrote that I have a science degree because my diploma says that I have a degree in Master of Science in Marketing Analytics. And since I actually took a multiple of STEM courses, I think it's actually very fair for me to write that I have a science degree over here. You actually have to check all the graphs over here and mark your own points, but for me it was 20. Right, so the next category is your language proficiency, and you can get up to 20 points over here. And I actually took TOPIK exam only once. The TOPIK is a Korean language exam, just in case. And I got first level, which only gave me 3 points, unfortunately. This is the area I need to improve, but it is points that I was missing, and I'm happy I have them right now. So the next category is actually very, very important. This is your salary. You can get up to 60 points over here, which is pretty huge. This row is basically your salary, and I fell into this category of people who got between 30 and 40 million won, so I get 30 points over here. And the last category over here are the additional points. You can actually go through this and see what points you can collect. Some of these categories include volunteering, and then you can actually get points for that, or completing education in Korea also gives you additional points, among others. So for me, I actually did my master's degree in this country, so I get 7 additional points. So let's calculate all of them together. 25 here, 20 here, 3 here, 30 here, and 7 here, which sum up to being 85 points in total, and 85 points gave me a 1-year residence in South Korea. Even though this is a point-based long-term residence visa, the number of years that you get to stay ranges from 1, I think, to like 3 or 5. And then, unfortunately, because of my number of points, I get the very minimum, but it's a good start. Just an important piece of information that here in all the additional points, you actually can get only up to 40 of them. So now that we got the point chart out of the way, I'd love to share a few very helpful sources that you can refer to learn more about this visa and the process. So the first thing I would love to leave a link to down in the description is the visa manual. It's all in Korean, but it is probably the most useful source of information that you can probably refer to. This manual has maybe like 99% of your questions answered right in there if you read through it and translate it if necessary. Yeah, overall it's just very, very helpful to read through this before you go and apply or ask other people about their experiences. And the second source I would like to share is the F2-7 visa holders Facebook group. This group has tons of information on other people's experiences, so you can scroll through the experiences of other people. And I've been actually on this group for the past 6 months or even more, just reading through other people's experiences, good or bad, and what they've done to actually overcome the struggles or some paperwork problems. And yeah, if you just go through what other people do, you can actually go find out about like list of documents, things that you should be aware of, things that are not listed on the visa manual, and all of that. And you can actually use a search function to find the questions that have already been answered based on your topic, or if nobody has answered this, you can actually ask your own question. And there are quite a few very, very helpful people in this group that I appreciate that answered my questions as well, and will probably answer your question too. And the last helpful source I would like to mention is 1345, which is a phone number for all your immigration questions. Just use it as a reference, don't use it as a legal advice, because this is a call center, this is not immigration itself. Just because this information may not always be true, but it is a good starting point for something that you are curious about, and just make sure to double check it with a visa manual and with F2-7 Facebook group. Alright, so this has been my experience in getting F2-7 visa. I hope I was able to provide you with some useful information. If you have any questions about any information I've provided or my experience, please feel free to leave a comment. I may not know everything, but I would love to help in any way I can. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Feel free to stick around if you'd like to learn a little bit more about life here in South Korea from somebody who has actually been living here for quite a few years, or if you're interested in what I'm gonna do next with this visa and my future goals and steps here in South Korea. Thank you, and see you in the next one.